What's goody, what's goody, what's goody, what's going on, team? Good evening. Good morning to those who live in a completely different time zone. Good evening to those who live on the different time zone. My bad, I had to make sure the mic was working. To those who are living in the East Coast, Central Time as well. Good afternoon to those still in the West Coast. Want to give everybody another minute or two to join. We'll give everybody till 7:07, so we'll give everybody another minute to join. Minute and 15 seconds. Hope everyone had a good day today. As always, if you guys have any questions, let me know. Any specific pairs you guys want me to go over, whether or not they're on our list, let me know. The pairs we're going to be going over, the ones you see on the right hand side with the red flag next to their name, we will be going in order from the top to the bottom, starting off with AUD-USD, finishing off with US oil. If you guys took any trades today or had any trade ideas that you want me to go over and talk about, let me know. What's good, Muhammad? Chillin', my brother, chillin'. Pretty easy session tonight, guys. Again, it shouldn't be longer than 30 minutes. Right? We talked about what we needed to talk about during yesterday's weekly market breakdown to get the week started. Um so it should be a pretty quick session, man. No trades on my side today. Again, everything pretty much moved during Asia, London. The things that were left for NYC were pretty much just consolidating. Didn't really give us an entry um till a little bit after NY. Trade went straight to TP for what? US 30? What are you talking about? Which trade you talking about? The trade of life, yes sir. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Discord, man. They've been down for a little bit already. They gotta they gotta lock in. They gotta lock in. Make our own Discord, facts. That's actually, you just gave me an idea. We'll work on that today, actually. And man, I still gotta wait till the fucking 23rd, bruh. Fuck. Alright, let's get started, team. So again, gonna be a pretty quick session. If there's anything that we really have to talk about, then we'll break it down. If not, we'll just pretty much skip through it and wait for price to get into our points of interest, right? And that's pretty much the situation with AUD-USD, right? Again, overall, we know we're in a downtrend. We're in level 3, right? We started level 3 once we had the break of the zone of consolidation, right? We had the lower low set. Now we're just looking for a lower high to be set for us, right? For us to start looking for those trades going short from the lower high going into the lower low. So again, we understand our 2 points of interest. The first point of interest was 800 EMA. Our second point of interest is going to be once price fills this 30-minute gap here at the highs. We're reaching the 800 EMA, so we're getting close to our first point of interest again as to where we would be expecting or looking, right, for price to start those downtrend moves. As of right now, price gave us a change of character, higher high, higher low. It gave us a break of structure, higher highs. So right now, we're still just on an uptrend on the 30-minute time frame. Just got to be patient, right? We understood, yes, even though we had a 30-minute bearish engulfing candle, right, at the end of the week, we understood it was low probability. And you know price gave you a low probability area because, again, yes, the market is always going to give you double tops. The market's always going to give you double bottoms, right? And the question that everybody always has is, how do you know when it's a fake out and how do you know when it's a continuation, right? In this case, since we're talking about the engulfing candle, right, specifically a bearish engulfing candle, we understood that this was a low probability area to take a trade because price was still uptrending. Price is still giving us higher highs, higher lows. Right, I'm not expecting price to give us higher high, lower low, lower low, right? I'm expecting price to give us higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. So right now we just have to be patient, right? Again, this 30-minute engulfing, we could just turn that off. We have 2 days of rise, so we already see price is giving us these uptrend moves. Gonna be patient with AU, with ACAD very similar. Right, overall daily time frame, we know that we're in a complete downtrend, but right now we are stuck in the first zone of consolidation on the downtrend, looking for that second push to the bottom. Price never gave us a break of these lows, just gave us inducement to the lows, testing the lows, same way, never gave us a break of the highs, just testing the highs. Right, and on a lower time frame, we know that we're in a lower time frame zone of consolidation that price finally gave us the break of structure of. So this is another pair that right now I am still expecting price to give us a steeper pullback. Now the question for ACAD is, where is this pullback going to be? Right? At this point, we're reaching a point of interest, which is just internal lower lows and lower highs. Once price reaches these highs, we'll know exactly what price wants to do. If price wants to break these highs, then we know we'll pretty much go right back to the top of the zone of consolidation where price has rejected multiple times in the past. Right? And this is where we'd be expecting to start looking for our entries to go right back down to the bottom of the zone of consolidation. So just got to be patient with AUD-CAD. Could we still catch, you know, smaller trades going short, little pullbacks, right? Pretty much price going from higher high into a higher low and catch that pullback? Yeah, of course, 100%, right? So just got to be patient for that. Wait for price to give us those confirmations. Those confirmations will be given on the 5-minute or 1-minute time frame, right? And right now we know that we're still trading higher high, higher low. Right, into this higher high over here. So again, ACAD is another pair that currently just have to be patient. You know, I'll be keeping an eye on ACAD, especially on the 1-minute, 5-minute time frame. Looks like price already gave us that change of character down to the bottom. So as soon as price gives us a break of these lows, then we know we could take these trades just as a little pullback back down to the bottom. Right, again, price just giving us higher high and looking for a higher low to be set. So just gonna be patient with ACAD, but ACAD is definitely on my watch list for tomorrow to start looking for these trades. Let's take a look at the higher time frames too. We have any engulfing candles, anything that'll give us a little head start to look for entries. We don't really have anything just yet, so we'll be patient. We'll be patient. Euro AUD. Once again, if you guys need me to slow down, explain something, anything at all, just let me know. Euro AUD, we're in level 3 on an uptrend. We have push 1, first zone, push 2, second zone, and now we're looking and we're currently in push number 3, expecting price to reach our previous peak highs at these highs over here. Right, currently when we just zoom in and look at what price is doing, just consolidating, just moving sideways, rejecting lows, rejecting highs, just trapping traders the entire time. right? On a lower time frame, you guys could see we're just trapped in a zone of consolidation, right? Price also printed a little shoulder head shoulder on the 4-hour time frame. So we'll be looking for price to give us valid breaks of these lows to pretty much see if price wants to give us a steeper pullback or if price just wants to go from the bottom of the zone of consolidation back to the top side. So again, EA is going to be another pair that just have to be patient. Currently, price is still giving us lower lows and lower highs. Once price starts turning around and start giving us higher highs and higher lows, then I'll be a little bit more comfortable and a lot more confident in taking these trades. For right now, just have to be patient. Let price do what it has to do, and then we'll attack once it starts following our rules. And we have a day of drop, no continuations. On to the next one. EURUSD is in peak high territory, so you guys already know this is not going to be a pair that I will be looking to take trades in, but I will keep this updated. Gotta update our daily high real quick. Our 4-hour highs pretty much still trading higher high, higher low, higher high. I'm not gonna mark this as higher high, higher low, higher high just yet. We'll wait out to see what price wants to do on the 4-hour time frame. If price wants to give us just inducement candles of the highs and starts pushing down, then we'll update this accordingly. We had 3 days of rise. After 3 days of rise, market must chop or drop. We consolidated for a little bit, but we ended up getting another push to the top side. Right now, a lot of people always say, oh well, if 3 days of rise, market is supposed to move sideways and go down, then why did price give you 4 days? It's very simple, right? When we look at the market open for this week, price opened with a gap, right? Opened with a very small gap, but it did open with a gap. And what do we know about gaps in the market? It resets the trend. So technically speaking, this is just the first day of rise, right? Gaps reset the trend. So anytime you guys see that price is just trending and giving you 6 days, 7 days, 8 days of rise, if you go and you look at the opening candles for the new days, for the new session, you'll see that there will be gaps in the market. So EURUSD, peak high territory, not trading that, so we'll skip over it. EU, very similar to GU, right? In the area that we're trading in, we're pretty much trading at the higher high in level 2, right? We had push number 1, level 1 for zone consolidation on an uptrend. We had push number 2, we had the break of structure, higher high, higher low. Price came up and gave us another higher high, right? So this is another pair that currently, I would have loved to have seen price give us a trend instead of a zone of consolidation as soon as a higher high was made. Right, and I wanted really to see price fill this gap up in the 30-minute time frame. However, we didn't get that movement, right? All we got was just a little zone of consolidation where price is rejecting highs and rejecting lows. And if we go down to a lower time frame, you guys will see that we're stuck in a 4-hour time frame zone of consolidation as well. With that being said, could we look for trades in this area even though price is at a higher high? Yeah, of course. Again, we just have to follow the trend, right? And right now we had the change of character, higher high, higher low. We had the break of structure that's currently being given, right? And we have 2 days of rise. Now, the worst thing about this trade is that price already gave us that 3rd day push, right? So when we're looking at our 372, when we're looking at these continuation trends back to the top side, can't really take these trades right now, right? And that's okay. Again, I'm in no rush to take trades on a pair like EU. Again, very similar to GU. I'm really not in a rush to take these trades. And I'll update this tomorrow morning because again, I don't want to call this a break, right? A valid, unless we got a clean break, which it looked like we did, right? Candle's not touching that wick, so, or the break of structure line is not touching the wick. So we'll see, right? This is gonna be a good pair to keep an eye on for this week for sure. EU. Only for opening candles or gaps in general? Usually it's just opening candles, right? Because gaps in the middle of the market when price is already open, like whenever you see, for example, it doesn't happen often, but whenever you will see a big pair like US 30 or whenever news hits, you'll see that there's a gap opening and then price just goes crazy to one side. Usually that's just an imbalance in the market, right? I wouldn't really say that resets the trend, but I still act accordingly, right? If I do see a gap and I see that there's a 372 and that gap was formed in the middle of the day or when price had already opened, I still just have that in mind where, okay, gaps could reset the trend, right? So they don't hold as much weight, but it's definitely still, you know, keep it in mind every time you see a gap. It doesn't matter where it's open. Yeah, GA is in peak high territory, very similar to the other pair that we just talked about. So not going to be trading GA. GCAD, we're in level 3 on an uptrend, right? We have push number 1, first zone consolidation, push number 2, second zone consolidation, and we're currently in level 3, push number 3, where we're expecting price to at least reach our previous peak highs at these highs over here. So GCAD still has a long way to go. Once again, this is another pair very similar to EU, where instead of just giving us a simple higher high, higher low to continue into a higher high, it instead just gave us a zone of consolidation, where price is rejecting highs and price is rejecting lows. So for GCAD, it's very simple, right? Even though I don't really like zones of consolidations because it takes a long time for price to give you the entry that you're looking for, it is the simplest form of trading to trade, right? Because the only thing we're looking for is for price to give us that break of these highs. And as soon as price gives us a break of these highs, we already know we're clean back to the top side, right? To continue that trend. So GCAD similar to GA, right? We had 3 days of rise, so we were expecting price to either move sideways or go down. We ended up getting another push to the top side. However, again, the opening candle for the week opened with a gap, reset the trend. Price went ahead and gave us another push to the top side. Right, price is still higher high, higher low. Didn't give us a clean break of these highs, so I'm not gonna update this just yet. So for GCAD, just gotta stay put, be patient, wait for price to give us these valid breaks, and then we'll go on from there. GJ, I was really wanting to see that 30-minute engulfing candle being print here. Now, I know I'm skipping ahead a little bit. Let's start on the daily time frame. Yo, the one and only Miss Jean Pocket. What's good, Vanessa? Welcome, welcome. Long time no see, man. We've missed you in here. So GJ, we know that we're in a pretty hefty situation with GJ, right? We've been in this zone of consolidation for a long time, right? We've pretty much been in the zone of consolidation since November of 2024, right? We know that we're still in an overall uptrend. We're still trading between the previous higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and on the push from the higher low going into the higher high. Price again instead just gave us a zone of consolidation where price has been rejecting highs, rejecting lows the entire time, right? As you guys could see, daily time frame, we've been rejecting these highs again. We still don't have a valid break of these highs yet, so I cannot say that we're still going to be looking for buys, right? We're not going to be looking for these long positions until price gives us a clean break. Right now, what price is doing is just giving us inducements of the highs, right? Just testing the highs, just trapping traders. And again, the lower time frames we go to, you guys will see that price is just trapping traders, making you believe that price is going to go down and then it goes up, making you believe that price is going to continue to push to the top side, it goes down. Again, faking you out, thinking that price is going to continue that downtrend push at the bottom of the zone of consolidation, and it goes right back to the top side. And again, giving you inducements of the highs, where now if we go down to the lower time frame, people on the 30-minute might think, oh, well, we're in an uptrend, right? Especially traders who use trend lines, right? Especially traders who I don't even know how they mark it up, but whatever the case is, right? This is one part, right? Thinking that price is going to continue. Now, we know that we have a 30-minute gap that was given at the market open for this week, right? We know price has to fill that gap. Now, again, that gap doesn't have to be filled the same day, the same week. That gap could be left there for days, for weeks, for months, right? We've seen that on AU. Remember, we have this gap on AU. We'll see it on the daily time frame, right? That was printed in October of 2024. So it's been months that this gap has just been lingering up here, right? With that being said, the fact that we're trading at the top of the zone of consolidation where price is just giving us rejections of these highs, I am expecting price to come down and fill this gap before we continue that push to the top side. Or again, price is just going to give us the same thing as been giving us for the last couple weeks, right? Since the beginning of August. Rejecting highs and going low, right? Rejecting lows and going high, rejecting highs and going low, rejecting lows, going back high, right? So gonna be very patient with GJ. During the end of the NYC session, pretty much right before the market closed, price gave us a pretty nice engulfing candle, right? Going short. I just didn't really trust this one. We're below the 50 EMA, which is perfect, right? But I would love to see some other confirmation here now that the new session has started, right? Because again, another thing is I don't really hold trades through one session. You get hit with a lot of swap fees and commission fees and all that. So I'll be looking for another entry opportunity on GJ here to give us that push into that 30-minute gap. Now we're waiting on Jessica. Facts. Yeah, Jessica hasn't been here for a little bit. I think it's been like 3 months now or something. So let's mark this up. So right now we have a day of drop, right? I don't really like this again because price opened with a huge gap, but regardless, we'll mark it as a day of drop. There's no problem. Right now, am I looking at this as a 372? No, I'm only looking for this to give us that push back down to fill this gap in. So we'll be patient with GJ, but GJ should be a pretty good trade. Again, GJ usually loves to move during the end of Asia going into London. So let's see if we'll catch that entry going into tomorrow's session for the NYC session. Again, GU. And again, if you guys have any questions, let me know. Anything you guys want me to explain, anything that's not making sense, feel free to just type it in the chat. Feel free to let me know if you have any questions. You know, I'll always go back to it, and whatever it is that you guys want to talk about, we'll go over it, explain it. So again, GU very similar to EU. We're pretty much trading in the same parameters. Same thing. We're in level 2 on an uptrend, right? We have push number 1, first zone of consolidation. We had the break of structure that started the second push, gave us higher high, higher low, and we're currently trading at a higher high. And again, same thing as EU. Instead of just giving us a simple higher high, higher low to then go into a higher high, it ended up giving us just a zone of consolidation where price is rejecting lows and rejecting highs. And again, it doesn't mean that it's not tradable. It definitely is tradable. But when you're looking at the trend, when you're looking at where price should continue, right? Again, we're trading at a higher high. So it makes this a little bit, I'm not going to say difficult, but it makes it a lot more technical than it has to be. Right, so with that being said, again, we'll just keep following our system. We know we have a change of character. In order for us to start looking for trades, we want to see a valid break of structure. We have 2 days of rise, perfect. Price already gave us that third push to the top side, and that's okay. This is going to be a pair very similar, again, to EU, that later on this week, possibly Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we'll start looking to take some entries on both of those pairs. So just got to be patient, wait it out, and we'll go on from there. NZD USD. Let's take a look. NZD USD, we're currently in the second zone of consolidation, looking for that third and final push to the bottom. Right now we're at the bottom of the zone of consolidation, which is not the best spot to be looking for trades going short, right? Especially when you don't have a break of structure. Price is still just giving us inducements, just testing the lows. On a lower time frame, we're on a lower time frame zone of consolidation, which is the 4-hour. Right, on the 4-hour time frame, we did get a break of the bottom of these zones of consolidation. So technically speaking, we're still good to continue to look for trades going short. But at this point, the question is, where is price going to give us the lower high? My first point of interest was the 200 EMA and the 800, and we flew past it, and that's okay. Right, we still have the 30-minute structure to look at, which we could see prices tapping into. We still have the 4-hour highs. And again, if price decides to just continue this push to the top side, that's okay. Again, we understand that we're at the bottom of the zone of consolidation. So right now, if we don't have a break of structure on the daily, which is what we were looking for, we know that every entry on the lower time frame going short is going to be low probability. So right now, just have to be patient with NU. Wait for price to turn around. Wait for price to start following the trend, and then we'll continue to look for trades. And right now we have 2 days of rise. Right, price gave us a change of character. We were at one point trading downtrends, right, lower low, lower high, all the way down into this lower low, and then price came up and gave us a higher high at these highs. So Just gonna be patient. This could be a good thing, right? This could be just an inducement of the highs, give us a change of character to the top side to then continue that push down to the bottom. So NU is gonna be a pair on my watch list for this week to potentially look for entries going short, right? Depending on how price moves in these areas, right? If price gives us another pullback, let's say another higher high, higher low, and once price reaches these highs again at these higher highs, if price gives us an inducement instead of a break of structure, then we know we could start looking for those short positions going back down. So NU is definitely going to be a pair I'm going to keep an eye on for today and for the rest of the week. US 30 on the same boat as AU when it comes to that engulfing candle, and we will go over that as well. Let me go ahead and delete some of these drawings here. I don't need all of this on my screen. Right, US 30, we know we're in peak high territory, right? We're in the highest point in the market. We've reached our previous highs that we were in, right? We know price gave us higher high, higher low, and price now is trying to give us another higher high. What I'm looking for on the daily time frame, I want to see a clean break of these highs. Again, just because one green candlestick closed above does not mean it's a break of structure. This is still just an inducement candle, a testing candle. I'm looking for another green candle to close above this green candle's wick to then call this a break of structure, and that's when we'll be looking for price to give us the higher low to then continue that uptrend push. So still going to be patient with US 30, right? 4-hour time frame on the other hand did give us, oh no, I'm sorry, it did not give us, it hasn't given us the break just yet. Same thing on the 4-hour time frame. Just because one green candle closed above does not mean it's a break. I want to see another green candle close above this green candle's wick to then classify it as a break of structure. That's when we'll start looking for price to give us that higher low to give us the retest to then continue the push to the top side, right? And if we go down into the lower time frames, you guys can see that we're just trapped in a zone of consolidation where price is rejecting lows and rejecting highs. So just have to be patient. We're reaching those highs again. We don't want to get trapped in any of these trades. We do have an hour engulfing candle going short, but once again, the fact that price never gave us a clean break of these lows is the reason why I am not anxious or nervous or anything, scared like, oh, it's an engulfing candle, we have to go short. No. If price would have given us a clean break of these lows, right? If price would have given us a clean break of these lows, then yeah, right? Because that means that we're trading lower low, lower high, and we're just looking for price to give us the lower low. Right, and on the movement to go down into the lower low, we know that price on the internal time frame has to give us the trend, right? Lower lows and lower highs. So the fact that yes, even though we have an engulfing candle here, I'm not looking for this to continue the trend because price never gave us that valid break. So this engulfing candle is considered low probability for me. I'm not going to take it. Anything that's low probability, I'm not taking it. It's really that simple. Right, once you connect your system to market structure, there's no way you could lose, right? No way you could lose. So US 30 just gonna be patient. For right now, again, we're in peak high territory. We're still in the zone of consolidation. We could already see how the market makers are trapping traders right on the 1-hour engulfing, trapping traders on the lower time frame today. If you were trading this thinking that price was gonna give you a simple, everybody who thought this was gonna be a break to continue going short, if you didn't cash out and profit once you had it, price went right back up and hit your break even. It came back down. If you didn't get out at these lows, and it went right back up and it hit your stop loss. So you have to understand what areas in the market you're trading in before you start taking trades. Right? So US 30, just gonna wait it out, see what price does in these areas. For USD CAD, pretty much these last couple pairs on our list, right? USD CAD, ZAR, gold, Bitcoin, oil. I'm really not trading them just yet, just based on the areas that we're trading in, right? So USD CAD, really nothing to update here. I'm just gonna keep this updated, but we'll just we're pretty much done for this session for tonight, guys. There's not a lot, as I said. We pretty much already knew this just based on the weekly market breakdown. Not a lot to really keep an eye on, right? We have some pairs that might give us some good entries, some good confirmations, but For right now, again, the reason I'm not looking at USD CAD, we're just pretty much trapped in this area. Overall time frame, we're trapped in a zone of consolidation as well. Daily time frame still looks like it wants to uptrend, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, but also we already reached our peak high, right? We already made the 3 pushes to the top side. So am I expecting USD CAD to continue a push to the top side? No, right? So does this mean that we're now on a downtrend? It could be, but once again, just going to be very patient because we are technically still trading higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. So gonna be patient. Price could always just stay in the zone of consolidation. As you guys could see, zones of consolidations could be a couple weeks to a couple months. It could be a couple days as well. In this case, we've been consolidating since May. So it has been a few months already since we've been in the zone of consolidation. So if price decides to give us another inducement of the high to go right back down, then we'll take those trades going down back to the bottom of the zone of consolidation. So USD CAD, again, just going to be patient, not going to rush into any of these trades. That's pretty much it, man. That's pretty much it for USD CAD. USDR is in the exact same spot, same scenario. Trapped in an overall zone of consolidation on an uptrend. We're in the second zone of consolidation. ZAR's in a weird spot because ZAR also reached our previous peak highs, but it reached our previous peak highs while we were still in the zone of consolidation. So just gonna play it off, right? We know we still have this daily engulfing candle here at the bottom of the zone of consolidation. If price taps into it and gives us inducement to the lows, then we know we could take these trades back to the top side. So just gonna be patient. For now, price is still giving us lower low, lower high, lower low. It gave us a little change of character, higher high, higher low, higher high, and then came back down and gave us another lower low. But I'm not gonna mark this as an entire push here. We're just gonna say that this is lower low, lower low, change of character, higher high, and we're still trading between these lows here and then these highs. We'll say that all of this is part of the same move. Just because price never really gave us breaks of these highs, it was just inducement candles, right? Until price gave us this push over here, right? So we're pretty much still trading between these highs over here and these lows down here. Right, we know that we have 1 day of drop, which was Friday. We have the second day of drop, which was today. And the third push already was given. That third day low was already given here. So, gonna be patient with USD ZAR. Gold is another one that I'm currently really not trading. We're in peak high territory. Again, very similar to the other pairs. All of this is traded the exact same way. We're at the highest point in the market. We're trading at a higher high. We already have 3 weeks of rise. After 3 weeks of rise, we already know the market must move sideways or go down. So gonna be patient. Gonna be patient. If price starts giving me lower lows and lower highs, as you guys were seeing, right, especially during the weekly market breakdown, you guys saw that I had this marked. If price starts giving me lower lows and lower highs on the lower time frame, right, the 5-minute, the 1-minute time frame, then I'll start looking to take trades. Just a little pullback, right? A higher high going into a higher low. But for right now, just gonna be patient. Right, 30-minute time frame, we're trading between this high. I'm gonna keep it close. Right, we're trading between this high and this low over here. I don't like these areas, but we'll see what price wants to do. And on the 4-hour time frame, we're trading between this high over here and on the daily time frame, we're trading these highs over here. So again, we're trading at the higher high. Every high is in the same spot. We're trading in the 30-minute high, the 4-hour high, the daily high. Just gonna be patient with gold. Bitcoin is another one in peak high territory. We're in the highest point in the market. So again, this is one that oh, Discord is finally working. Welcome, guys.
It's late.
Finally, it only took them 2 hours. Yeah, Bitcoin is in peak high territory. This is another one that I'm just gonna keep updated, but I'm gonna skip through it. Not trading Bitcoin for now, just giving it a little bit of time to really tell us what it wants to do. We know that we're still trading lower low, lower high, lower low. price still hasn't given us a break of these highs or a break of the low, so we're still trading between the same 30-minute low and 30-minute high that we've been trading in for the last week and a half. And price gave us 2 days of rise. So could we be looking for a third day push back to the top side? Could happen. This could be a good trade to take a to what? It could be a trade. This could be a good pair to look for a trade in. Wow, I don't know why that was so difficult to say. All right, let's look at the 4-hour. Any engulfing candles? Nothing on the 4, nothing on the 1 hour. Nothing really on the 30-minute just yet. Let's go down to the lower time frame. I won't go lower than the 5-minute on, well, the 15-minute on Bitcoin, but I'll go down into the 5 now just to see if there's an aggressive entry that we could look at. No engulfing candles here, so we'll be patient. Could be a good pair to keep an eye on for tomorrow. 372 push back to the top side. And then last but not least, guys, again, if you have any questions, let me know. Any pairs you guys want me to go over, anything you guys want me to explain, let me know. Oil on the daily time frame, we know that we're in an overall downtrend, right? We were in the first zone of consolidation. We finally had the break of the zone of consolidation. That price gave us a lower low, lower high, and we're looking for those continuations back down to give us another lower low. So for the last couple weeks, there have been few entries, right? Few entries on oil. We have a daily engulfing candle that price still hasn't tapped into yet. So this could be a good area to look for price to just give us a little retest to then continue back down to the bottom. So we'll keep an eye on that. On the 4-hour, we had an engulfing candle on the 4-hour time frame that price tapped into, went straight into profit. Right, and right now we also have a 4-hour engulfing candle here that price already tapped into. Right, so again, could I be looking for something steeper than this just because we have this daily engulfing? Makes this area here a little low probability, but let's talk about it. All right, let's go into the 30-minute time frame real quick. Right, we had 3 days of drop. After 3 days of drop, we know the market must move sideways or go up, and we ended up going up. Again, if price would have given us a clean change of character and this would have been a clean break of structure, then yes, I would classify this as a valid entry to look into to continue, right? Because price gave us the change, it gave us the break, it gave us the lower high, and we're looking for that lower low push. But again, the fact that price didn't really give us a clean change of character, right? The fact that price never gave us a steep pullback, this is the reason why I'm not saying that this is higher high, higher low, higher high, lower low, lower high, lower low, right? Instead, I'm saying that this is where price is giving us higher high, higher low, higher high, and all of this is part of the same trend, and this is where price gave us the lower low change of character, right? And we're trading lower high. Currently, this is still the lower high. Now, if price could give me a steeper pullback and give us a pullback into the daily engulfing candle, I'd feel a little bit more confident taking these trades up here than these trades down here. Kendall said, you want me to go over GJ? I got you, Mohammed. We'll go over it again. 4-hour engulfing on oil. Yep, talking about that right now. It looks good on lower time frame. Talking about GJ, Mohammed. We'll see. I'd be looking for something steeper even based off the EMAs on the 4-hour, so I want to wait for the 30-minute break. Yeah, I mean, again, I don't think we'll get a 30-minute break. You know, that would be the ideal situation, right? The ideal situation would be for price to give us lower high, lower low break. But if we get this break, then that means that price would give us a change of character back to the top side if we go up to the engulfing candle, right? So I'm more looking at this as, we could say, an aggressive entry, right? Also understanding that on the daily time frame, this is a fat stop loss, right? But I would like for price, or I'm sorry, on the 4-hour time frame. No, yeah, on the daily time frame. Sorry, I already got confused. I would like to see price come back up and give us this retest of the daily engulfing candle. But we'll be patient. We'll see what happens. You would take sells at the daily engulfing candle and milk sells into the lower low. Yep. In this situation, since the engulfing candle is on the daily time frame, I'd look to take the trade, right? The only difference I would have on my screen is obviously, I'm not gonna use, just for educational purposes, right? I'm not going to use a 200 pip stop loss on this trade, right? Just because price gave us an engulfing candle here on the daily, I'm not gonna be using a 200 pip stop, right? That's just not ideal. So the way I would go about this is on the daily time frame, once we see that price is in the area that we want to see price give us that entry, this is where I would go into the 30 minute, into the 15, the 5 minute time frame and start looking for my entries on the lower time frame, right? And then in that case, let's say price goes up to the engulfing candle and gives us like an internal 5 minute shift where price is giving us higher high, higher low, and then we start making lower lows and lower highs. I'd start looking to take these trades here, and then I'll just have a simple stop loss in the internal time frame instead of using a daily time frame 200 pip stop loss, if that makes any sense. And I wouldn't sell into the lower lows, right? The projected place to where I'd be looking for price to go would be all the way to the lower lows, but I use STP ADR. So let's say that on Wednesday price gives us the entry, right? I'm just looking to get in on Wednesday and I'm getting out at ADR, or at I'm sorry, at STP for the day. I'm not looking to hold the trade for 2 days, 3 days. I'm just looking to get out as soon as price gives me STP. It gave me the entry, perfect, right? And then on Thursday, if we get back on the chart and price is still trending and it gives us another entry, then I'll take another trade on Thursday, right? And if on Friday we step back onto the charts and price is still following the trend, and we can see that price is targeting the lower lows, then on Friday, if price gives us another entry to get into, another opportunity to get into the trade, then on Friday we'll get into the trade again to continue that push to the bottom. But anytime I trade, again, I have my projected areas as to where price could go, right? Again, I'll explain it on the as a visual, right? Let's say for instance we're trading, let's say, buys, right? Yes, even though I'm looking for price to give me, lower low going into a lower high, right? I'm not looking to get into buy positions here and just hold for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks for price, right? I'd be looking for my first entry on Monday or whatever day, right? Wednesday, Thursday, I'll get back on the charts. If it gives me another entry, then I'll take it again and I'll get out at STP. If Thursday gives me or Friday, sorry, if Friday gives me another entry, I'll take another entry and I'll get out at STP, right? And then so on and so forth. If Monday come back in, gives me another entry opportunity, I'm getting in until price comes into our projected area. Once price gets up here, then we already know, okay, ready for price to go the opposite way. So oil's definitely gonna be one to keep an eye on for sure. And then Muhammad, you said GJ. In the internal time frame, you said it looks good on the internal time frame. Um, I don't think so. There's really nothing on the lower time frame, right? We're pretty much trading between these lows and these highs, right? Then price gave us a break here and gave us another higher high. So really, we're trading between these highs and these lows. So no, on the 5 minute, 1 minute time frame, we don't really have any structure. This is going to be purely on the 30-minute time frame. There's really nothing to look at on the internal time frame, right? So now for right now, for GJ internal time frame, everything that's been given on the internal time frame on GJ, again, the 5 minute, 1 minute time frame, is pretty much invalid. I'm not really focusing on the internal time frame. Now, if price on the internal time frame was following the trend, if they were following, lower lows and lower highs, and it gave us a change of character, break of structure, then yeah, we'd have a completely different conversation. But no, right now, the 30-minute time frame and above is where you want to be at for GJ to avoid those fake outs. Got it? All right, perfect. Yeah, guys, any questions? Pretty quick session today. Only took us about 45 minutes to do. Again, there is really not a lot to look at. If we go through the pairs one by one again, right? AU really not trading. ACAD not trading, is moving counter trend. EA, right? Where's EA at? I forgot already. Right, we're still at these highs, so low probability areas. EuroCAD is in peak high territory, so we're really not going to be trading that. EU, nothing for today or for tomorrow, I guess, for Tuesday, but this could be a good one for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, potentially. Similar to GU. Um, GA is in peak high territory. GCAD, we're waiting for price to give us a valid break of these highs. So again, this is going to be another pair, not for tomorrow, but for possibly the end of the week. GJ could be a really good pair to keep an eye on. Like I said, we want to see price fill this gap in. So if we start seeing other entry confirmations and let price breathe a little bit, if we get an entry confirmation for GJ, then we'll take that. GU again, similar to EU, looking for a valid break of these highs. Could be a good pair for the end of the week. NZD USD, we could be looking for a potential entry on NU. Going short is this candle. Candle does not have a bottom wick. So gotta be patient with NU. US 30, not really gonna be active on US 30. Right, and these last pairs here, USD CAD, USD ZAR, not really gonna be active on gold. We're at a higher high, so gold could potentially give us a nice entry. Again, just a little higher high, taking a short from the higher high going into the higher low. So just gotta be patient, wait to see when price wants to give us that pullback. Bitcoin again, waiting it out. We still have another 9 minutes for the Bitcoin market to close. Looking for a 372 push back to the top side. And then oil, we're looking for a price to give us a pullback into the daily engulfing candles. So as of right now, not too many pairs to keep an eye on, but definitely enough pairs to continue to keep an eye on the market, wait for an entry opportunity to be present. Once the entry is given, then we attack and get into the trade. So any other questions, guys? Any other pairs you guys want me to go over? Any specific pairs you guys took that you want me to go over? Anything you had on your trade ideas for today or for tomorrow or for this week that you guys want me to look at? Let me know. I'll give you guys another 3 minutes or 4 minutes. Sorry. No, yeah, 3 minutes. At 7:55, we'll be out of here, and we'll be back again tomorrow morning for the live trading session at 7 a.m. Any questions at all? Anything you want me to explain, let me know. Great session. See you tomorrow. All right, Mr. Muhammad. See you tomorrow, my brother. Anything at all, guys, let me know. See you later, Vanessa. Miss you, man. Glad to see you again. No questions in the chat. Seems like you guys are good. Alright, since there's no questions in the chat, we'll see you guys again tomorrow morning for the live trading session at 7 a.m. Eastern. Again, pretty much 11 hours from now, we'll be back here and we'll have our little live trading session. So see you guys tomorrow morning. Peace out.